When I was younger, I saw like this little official Nintendo player's guide or whatever. I don't know what it was. It was a big black book full of Nintendo games, and one of them was in there with Castlevania. And the cover art for it, I just fell in love with because I was into like monsters and stuff like that, and like begged my dad to get it. So I think I got it for like Christmas, I think, but I got the first Castlevania, and I freaking loved Castlevania so much that like I even tried to build a Castlevania myself. Like I was planning out this castle, and me and my friends were gonna try to build Castlevania ourselves, like a real life Castlevania. Obviously, we never did. Just our imaginations were just going. But I enjoyed the game. It was really awesome. I didn't beat it until my adult years. I've tried and tried and tried to beat that game when I was younger, and I could not get past the Grim Reaper. And I remember I beat the Grim Reaper one time, and then like those sickles they had running around, I just kept running into them trying to get that crystal ball, and then I died. And since then, I have not played that game till my adult years when I was determined to beat it. And I found that the way to beat that Grim Reaper is to get the holy water and like the triple, and then when as soon as he appears, just keep throwing that holy water, and he can't even move anywhere. Kind of like in Castlevania 2 with Dracula. Castlevania 2 came out, and like again, the cover art was like you can just get a boner for because their cover art for these games are just incredible. I don't know who did them, but my god, are they awesome! And I remember the Nintendo Power for Castlevania 2. I didn't think much of it. I didn't know that people even complained about it, but as a kid, it was awesome. Now, whoever was getting nightmares from him is a complete pussy because it's just an awesome picture. And I think it'd be more adults getting nightmares from it because adults tend to get scared about those things because they're more close to realism than kids are. Kids don't give a shit. But anyway, so Castlevania 2 came out, and I remember playing that one a lot, but Castlevania 2 is one of those games where you need a Nintendo Power for, and that's what it's built for because it's so cryptic that you just, like the whole tornado thing and all that. But, like, the game obviously wasn't finished, but as a kid, I just thought to myself, you know what? Nintendo would never release something that's unfinished. That's how the game is. But I'm still running past all these guys that are supposed to be the bosses. They have like this big mask that come after you, and the Grim Reaper even. Just run right past them. You don't really need to fight them. I forget what you're supposed to get after you fight them, but like I said, I went throughout the entire game. I've actually, it's not the most interesting of games. It doesn't really have much replay value. Even to this day, I still don't really have much of a desire to play it. But you have to like find like the pieces of Dracula in it, and like one of the couple of them, it doesn't make any sense because you have to find like the body parts of him. But a ring and a nail is a body part of Dracula that you have to find and burn. What? It doesn't really make any sense at all. When we finally get to Dracula, he's easy as hell. You just gotta keep putting holy water on him and he dies. And I got like all three endings in the game, so I was pretty hardcore in beating it. But Castlevania 3 was much better than Castlevania 2. I still prefer the first one. I know a lot of people love Castlevania 3. I remember when I first saw Castlevania 3, it was at like this Atronics boutique. They had like a on this little TV thing, and they showed like a demo at the first level, and I'm like looked at that, I'm like, oh my god, that's awesome. And I remember getting that one for Christmas because that one came out close to Christmas time, and me and my friends used to play it all the time. But the game was hard as hell, especially in the later levels. I've watched my friend play it recently because I don't really remember too much. I just remember beating it, but I remember being really hard. But like the later levels, one, they're kind of forgettable, but they're also really hard too. The only levels I remember is the first like two stages. The first stage, everyone I think will remember. The music's great, but the clock tower on the second stage, especially that music, that's the only two that I remember from that game. But I remember a lot from Castlevania 4. Castlevania 4 was one of the launch games that came out for the Super Nintendo. And I remember seeing like pictures of it and everything and just remember salivating because you got this huge Simon Belmont. And I don't know why Simon Belmont came back for it because at the time I didn't know that it was considered, I think it was considered to be a remake in Japan. I don't know what it was for us, sequel, I guess. But I got that one, and I was hooked on that one. That one's really freaking fun. It's actually my favorite Castlevania game. What's great about it is one, no other game has really duplicated that one. That sucks because with your whip is actually pretty fun. I like swinging it around, swinging it down, killing enemies just by lowering my whip, swinging onto stuff and everything. It's really fun. It's a lot of fun, but they didn't really make a duplicate. They didn't make a direct sequel to it or anything like that. It was just sort of its own thing. But it's one of those games where I can actually play from beginning to end and have a good time. I can actually probably beat that game in like one sitting. It's a long game, but it's so much fun. I can actually beat it all the way through. And I actually recorded footage of me as a kid playing that one and beating it. Then like Dracula X came out for the Super Nintendo, which I don't really remember much of that one, but I remember Rondo of Blood, which I didn't really play to like much later in life. I didn't know that one even existed, but that one was actually Dracula X. It's just the TurboGrafx CD version. It only came out in Japan. Why that one never came out here until much later is beyond me. Probably because he didn't have much faith in the TurboGrafx, but like, you know, that one boosts sales. Everyone's going to buy it for. They'll probably have at least a few more sales if Castlevania was on it. But that one's probably my second favorite Castlevania. I love the music in it. And if you get Maria, which the second playable character, she's like this little girl in a dress that has animals help her. She's a lot easier to use than Richter Belmont. But Richter Belmont I consider to be hard mode because he's really just Simon from Castlevania onto that one. But her, she just throws things. She can double jump and flip and all that stuff. She's the ideal one to use. But Rondo of Blood, yeah, that would be my second favorite one. But they didn't really make another Castlevania game until the N64 came out. Now, there was two of them that came out for it. I only played one, which is Castlevania 64, and it's not that great. I tried to get through that one, but it's kind of boring. 3D on that one, the level design and everything just isn't that great. You can tell that they were struggling to come up with a good 3D platformer, and they had to on the N64, which is probably why Symphony of the Night came out on the PlayStation, because they can go back to their 2D roots. Sony tried to make them a 3D one, but they threatened not to localize it in America. So like, oh no, we want Castlevania Symphony of the Night here. So it stayed as a 2D because Sony was desperate. But that one is a really good game. It has a lot of imagination. I'm just not very good at it, but I've watched my friends play it, and I can see the appeal. A lot of people I know say that's their favorite Castlevania game, and if it's yours, more power to you. It's just not mine, just because I'm not good at it, but I see the appeal. Great game. Love the fact that you're Alucard in it. Almost got the costume for Alucard. But there's been a number of Castlevania games that come out. I haven't really played most of them. There was a lot of 3D ones that came out for the PlayStation 2. I haven't really played through any of them. I didn't really play another Castlevania game until Lords of Shadow came out. And to me, that one was more of a God of War type of game than Castlevania. I didn't really get through it. I got like halfway through it. I was going to beat it, but then when I came back to it, my file got corrupted, so I wasn't able to get through the game because it screwed up. But that's pretty much all of my Castlevania experiences. There's a lot of them that I didn't play, but the ones that I played, I'm satisfied enough. I can already tell you, it's probably the other ones I probably wouldn't have gotten into, especially like the 3D Castlevanias. But Castlevania 4 would be my favorite, with Rondo of Blood coming to a close second. But that's my Castlevania games. That's my video games for October. Stay tuned for Paranormal Activity.